Think you ready?
Yeah, as ready as I'm gonna be. Usually, like I'm sitting, so like I'm always like talking to people.
Uh-huh.
So usually I'm in a chair and I have my leg up, but
Okay.
like this is like it's weird. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. So
See, I'm like, what about this here?
my legs don't work that way.
Open
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so we had this problem when I was in Korea. I can't sit down like she could. Like obviously,
Like
Yeah.
on the heels or?
just like when
Like a X cross
Yeah.
the.
Okay.
like at tables.
this.
That- that-
Yeah,
Is that how
but
you
he's
say-
like, oh no.
Okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
we'll definitely get into that. Then. Let's get into
Yeah.
that. All right, awesome. Let's start this out. Welcome to this episode of Two Feet Podcast. I have on today. Say your name for me.
Jay Banks.
And please say yours.
Mia Banks.
And you two are from.
So I'm a military brat from all over, but home is San Diego, California. So
And what about you, Mia?
I'm originally from South Korea.
Okay, okay. So we'll definitely get into that. But well, I'll start with you, Jay. You say you're a military brat. You born and raised in Cali, or?
nah. So I was a little bit in Virginia, moving back and forth around there, and then in California as well. So,
Okay. Okay. What was let me ask you this. Looking back on your childhood, how do you think that being a military brat, how do you think that influenced you?
It made me very independent, believe it or not. When you move a lot, you're forced to like make friends real fast, and you don't have time to be like, okay, well maybe I'll see them next week, and then the following week, you know, you just kind of, you know, take opportunities and just like go after it a lot of the time. So, and that kind of, you know, kept me pushing forward in making friends, like even in the future. I still do it to this day. I'm like, hey, what are you doing right now? Nothing? Oh, okay. We're going to hang out right now. Right? So that's how I've always been.
No, I understand that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I guess of the places of Virginia, I guess Cali, you know, what did you prefer? What was your favorite?
They both have, it's hard to say. I like, believe it or not, obviously San Diego, minus the price tag to everything. You know, you're paying for convenience, obviously. There's a lot of people there, a lot of things you can do and all that stuff. So I would lean towards that. But yeah, it just, to me, it's, you know, the people that you're surrounded by. That, you know, that's really what's going to make you happy at the end of the day.
I understand that. I definitely do. And what about you, me? You tell me you are from Korea, correct?
Korea? What?
You're from Korea, yes.
Yeah, I'm from.
No, what part? What part?
What part? You mean the city?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I grew up in Daegu. Yeah, one of the big cities in Korea. It's a little down part of Korea. Yeah, I grew up in there.
And so I've never had a chance to visit Korea. So what was your childhood like?
Can you speak slower,
Oh,
please?
yeah, sure. So what was your childhood like in Korea?
You mean
Your childhood, like how was you growing up?
Yeah, I was kind of very shy and quiet when I was childhood. Yeah, but I grew up when I getting older. I became more active. Less shy, but still I shy. Yeah, kind of not extra. Not outgoing that much. So I'm kind of that woman.
Do you remember what were some of your childhood hobbies? What did you enjoy to do?
Can you speak one more time?
Yeah, what did you like to do as a kid?
As a kid, usually I like to draw. Yeah, and also I spend a lot of time playing the piano, and also my mom only sent me something like art class and then piano class. But now I'm thinking, what if they send me to the taekwondo class? Like a martial art. Yeah. So I just quiet, regular.
And did you do any dancing in your youth?
No, not until I didn't even know I was interested in dancing until like a high school student. Yeah, so my dancing passion came out when I was in high school student, because I think one of the very popular actresses, she's a very good dancer. So when I watching her dancing, she was very attractive, and then I tried to copy, and then I did it. So I was like, oh, I'm good. So after that, I tried to apply some program but it was like an animation. So I watch and then learn, practice, something like that. Yeah.
What is the popular dance style in Korea, or is there popular?
You mean these days or back then?
Even in high school, what was the popular dance style?
Yeah, just the singer, the K-pop dance singer. Sing and dance. And also nightclub people, how people dance in nightclub.
To the
some
two-step.
kind of cool move.
Okay. And what about you, Jay? In your youth, any dancing or any?
Just goofing around. You see people, you try to imitate them and stuff like that. Usher was big back in the day. It was just like, oh, I want to be like that guy. Friggin'. And you try it, and then, you realize that you suck, and you just move on.
Do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Not necessarily. Growing up, I always probably said, oh, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a police officer. Some contributing, I don't know, entity or organization that kind of helps the people that in your communities and stuff like that. I didn't know exactly what it would be, but I just knew it would be something to that effect.
Okay.
Contributing member to society. So,
Imagine that. I get you. And so we can fast forward now. So I know that you're currently active duty military, correct?
Yep.
So what drew you to that? Is that the same thing, serving the community, or?
I mean, I'm older, so 9/11 had a little bit of something to do with it. Just kind of just jumping in the deep end of the pool. That's what it really kind of came down to. It was just like, oh, just do it, and we'll see what happens. And then, even to this day, I'm surprised I'm this far in my career and all that stuff. But if you were to ask me, a million years ago, like, hey, you're going to be in the military this long, I'd have been like, you're crazy, right? So.
Did you have your family support?
Yeah, of course.
Them being military.
Yeah, of course. I had family support. They're like, get out of the house, like, it costs too much to keep you here, type thing. And to be honest, your family typically is happy that you're doing something productive, right? Versus running around, and doing all the negative things you hear in the news that youth do. So.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. So tell me, you've been in how long now?
20 years now.
And where have you been stationed?
All throughout the United States, particularly in the Carolinas. Let's see, I've been overseas, Iraq, Korea, places like that. So.
And so tell me this. I guess where or when did you get involved with social dancing, and how actually? Tell me the how.
Yeah, the how is more interesting than the when. So my journey kind of started in like 2016-ish timeframe.
And how old are you then?
So I'm 40. I just turned 40.
Okay, so how old were you in 2016?
I don't even know how old I was.
2016, so 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so 30.
I don't do public math.
No, it's okay. I'll put you on the spot. I ask you. No, so about 30. So you started dancing since you were 33?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Okay, roger that. Okay.
So, I thought, doing the, nightclub thing. I went to an event. I've been dancing kind of socially for years, and I went to this event, and it was a Latin night, and I saw some people dancing, and I was like, oh, I can do that. And then I remember dancing with this fairly attractive woman, and I remember in the middle of the dance, she goes, I don't know what you're doing. So from there, I was like, I'm gonna take some classes. Not to necessarily, try to link back up with that individual, because it was in a different city, but it was just something that, hey, I kind of felt embarrassed about. And I'm kind of like that. If I get like agitated about something, I like go like really in depth into trying to figure something out. So, and then from there, went to Korea. I thought I could dance a little bit, and then I got to South Korea, and I was like, I can't dance at all. So then I had to, start rethinking things and re-gearing my mind, and then
in beach book or
and then and just start practicing a lot, on my off time. And
I understand, definitely. I want to get back to that, but let me ask you, how did you get involved in the, dancing? So you told me back in high school.
Yeah, and also before I studied salsa, also I was a member of nightclub community. People go to the nightclub for dancing regularly, like once a week. Yeah, and then that's how I get into dancing more before salsa. And then also when I was a member of the nightclub, I watched people dancing. And then the next week, when I was in class with my college students, I taught them, and this is how people dance these days. And then all of us go together, and then that's how I have fun when I was in college. And then after that, I was studying English test for getting a job. So I have 3 friends, including me, in the study guru. So, but one of the friends, he's already dancing salsa. So one day he, brought to the salsa club, and then I saw people dancing. Oh my God, this is what I need to learn right now. And then that's how I started to, dance salsa. And then I learned from many instructors, and then teachers from, here and there, everywhere. Yeah. So it's like, I think it's 2003 or 4.
Okay, that's a long time.
It's a long time ago.
So I want to hear this from both of you all, but I'll ask you first, Mia. What was your beginner stage like? Do you remember?
Yeah, when you started, how was it?
How was it?
How were you?
I just had fun. I was like much better than other people. I'm already good at, so I just once a week I have the lesson, and also once a week it's people getting together for social dancing. So 2 days I was always waiting for when is the social day, when is the class day. And also after I finished the beginner class, and then other senior dancers asked me to, can you teach the next beginner? So I say yes, and then so that's how I also get into instructing and also dancing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about you, Jay? What was your beginner stage like?
Oh, geez. I kind of don't want to look back into it, but it was pretty terrible. You think you know something, and then you start, and you're just like, okay, I suck still. And then, you keep coming back, and it's like, do I want to keep doing this to myself? You look yourself in the mirror, and you see other people dancing, you're like, oh, this person gets it way faster than I did. Like, it's a problem. But again, I'm pretty persistent, so I'm just like, all right, well, I suck now. Eventually, if I do it 1,000,000 times, I won't suck. So that's just how I am. Some people, it takes, they can see something once and they can replicate. I have to do it 1,000 times in order to kind of replicate it. So that's just how I am. I know how I function. So yeah.
I understand that. So it sounds like you said you were persistent. I understand that. Let me ask you this. There are probably people out there who are taking dance classes and they're in their beginner stage right now, and they're running into those hurdles, those obstacles, and they may be in that position where they want to quit.
Yep.
Let me ask you this. What kept you going, and what advice could you give someone else to keep going?
What kept me going was, you want to answer first, or?
No.
Okay, yeah. What kept me going was, you watch, you have your role models within any community that you're trying to actively like get better at. So I would watch like all the famous, the greats, like Terry and like Fadi and like and guys like that. And I was like, man, how do I get on their level? They didn't come out, out of the womb just like, oh, top level, salsa dancer over here, world known salsa. They had to do their work, right? So there's that. In terms of like what I would tell somebody that might be struggling to stay in and stuff like that, like everything that's great, it doesn't necessarily come easy, right? You do have to work for it, right? You wouldn't necessarily praise the greats. Like, I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan, but you wouldn't praise Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or somebody like that if truly they weren't like working as hard as they could every single day to get to where they're at, and the work has been put in from the results that they got. So you have to put respect to like the craft, and you have to put respect on the dedication that these personnel are doing. So
I understand that, and I'd love to hear from you as well.
So I think as a beginner, I was a little chubbier back then. So since I started dancing salsa, it helped me, lose weight naturally, like slowly and gradually. So, and also I wanted to get dressed nicely, and that's how. Then I have to go or take class, and then also keep practicing. And I think that's one of my motives back then as a beginner. And but also having a role model is very important. And when people achieve some level, also they're going to have a role model. I want to be a dancer like that, a dancer, Then they know they have to, keep practicing and then taking classes and then dancing lots of socials. Yeah.
Who do you think was your most influential instructor?
Oh, you mean just pick one?
Okay, you give me your top 3. Yeah.
I think my role model is kind of changing, but I can say I have many of my favorite dancers as salsa. I like Betsy Cortez and also Carol Flores, and then Tanya Canelsa, and also what's her name? The Adolf's wife. I forgot her name.
Whose wife?
Adolf Indakuchia's wife.
Oh, okay, I'm not sure on that. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot her name. Anyway,
Yeah,
and I think those 3 or 4 are my favorite salsa dancers. Yeah. And also Brenda Liu. Yeah. She's Asian. Yeah. Recently, I registered the online thing, and then so I try to keep myself, practicing. And also, as a bachata dancers, my first role model is Daniel Desiree.
Okay.
Naturally.
Yeah.
I've actually had them on the show.
But now one of my favorites also. She's living in Madrid. I think her name is Daisy Carrera. Anyway, Daisy, and also another bachata dancer. Who else?
It's okay. I don't remember.
Okay. These days, I have very, very bad memory, especially what is it? Having
anxiety or nervous?
the baby.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious for
my
you, JL,
goodness.
who do you think was your most influential instructor?
Of course. So there's 3 for salsa for sure. So Terry.
You say Terry, what's his last name?
Ali's, how you say his last name?
Salianza,
Yeah,
something like that.
Salianza,
Salsa
yeah.
Alianza,
He's really good.
Salsa Alianza.
Yeah,
Do you actually
like-
wait to train with him?
I have not. But you're talking about just the individuals that influenced me the most.
Or even, I guess, the actual instructors, the people who you've taken classes from.
Oh, I think. So believe it or not, I've taken salsa classes with people, but no one like famous except for when we went to San Francisco. That was the first time and that was last year with Panagiotis. That was the first time I actually took a actual salsa class with.
You took Korean
Yeah,
famous
but
dancers.
you know what? So that is my most influential. Is a guy named Pass from South Korea, from Daegu. Like his level of dedication, and she knew him before he was as good as he is.
Yeah, he's very dedicated and a
Yeah.
hardworking dancer. Yeah, I really respect his hardworking because he grew up. He developed gradually, not like this. One by one, little by little.
Yeah, but he was definitely the most influential instructor I had, especially for salsa, just because his attention to detail, and he did his homework before any class. And when you're doing class up until like midnight, like on a weekday, right?
As a student or as
both, right? Because I was still working and they were working, and the class would be like dedicated students, right? And they'd be training until like midnight, just on regular weekdays, right?
Is this a performance team or just not even?
Not even a performance team. The performance team trained on a different day, and it was like I said, the level of dedication, it was a little bit different, right?
This is in South Korea, correct?
Yeah, South Korea. Yep.
Talk to me about that then. So when did you first get to Korea? Your first time stationed there?
2017 is when I first got there.
So you still were a beginner at that point?
Oh yeah, I was totally a beginner. So I did take classes and stuff in the United States, but again, that level of dancing over there, like I was lucky enough to get to Daegu where they had a really good community, and I was like, okay, well, I need to do better before I can come out and dance with people.
Okay, so we were talking about this earlier before the interview. You said that the level of dancing in Korea is different than stateside.
Mm-hmm.
So please, can you elaborate on that? What do you mean? And especially in Daegu.
Yeah, so their dancing is a little bit, there's like levels to it, right? I kind of talked a little bit before about like, hey, if you're a brand new dancer, a lot of times those brand new dancers won't go to the socials, or if they do go to the socials, they're only there for the first part of the social, right? And socials last until like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, depending on where you're at, right? And typically there's certain clubs in South Korea where the advanced dancers go, right, versus the beginner dancers go. So, and it's not a knock on them, it's just the way their society kind of like functions a little bit from what I've noticed, right? So it's like, all right, hey, like Mia brought up earlier, they asked her to teach the new beginner class. Well, now she's a step above the beginners, right? Because she's teaching them, and then from there she'll go up to the next step with her own performance team and all that stuff, right? Where she's teaching kind of like everybody else under that. So yeah, it's just a little bit different over there, and they really do care about the details, and they really do care about how they look and stuff like that in front of people.
So it sounds like you're saying maybe a little bit more structured than stateside,
yes.
And as far as detail, so let me ask you this: since you've learned in Korea as well as you dance here, how would you put into words the differences between the dancing scene in Korea versus here?
Oh, okay. So the dancers in Korea, they're simply, they're more like dedicated, because some people, they quit their job, and they just travel for learning salsa and bachata, and then we have more dedicated, and then so they want to be better dancer, But here it's more like enjoying and having fun. Okay, this is my style. I don't care the timing. So I like more like a street dancing. So not all of them, but still a lot of good dancers, great dancers in US. But regularly, yeah.
So do you think it's to the point where it negatively affects, or did you think it negatively affects the dancers in Korea? To where they take it like too intense, or is it not like that? Or it's less playful, I guess it's less social,
yes.
And more of a...
I would say yes.
Okay.
It's over here in the States, more social, right? And there's a lot more drinking and all that stuff, right? Yes, is there drinking in Korea? Of course, there's drinking in South Korea. But over in the States, it's more like just, you're having fun, and we always pitch that as instructors, like just have fun, right? But over there, it's structure first, then fun after, right? And that's just the way it is.
So it sounds like beginners may have a better foundation. They teach the foundations.
Yeah, I would say and it's also because of repetition, right? So in the United States, it's a little bit different because we ask for a lot of students to show up, even if it's like a weekly class. A lot of students won't show up like consistently, right? Over there, you don't show up, right? You're off the little group thing, right? And it's all about like the communities within those little cells or groups, right? So, and it's kind of like a church function, You have, your choir team, and you have like the young adults. They have their own little thing, right? Well, those young adults and say the choir team, they all go to a dance class within those teams. Right, and if you don't show up, well, everyone kind of was like, "Hey, why aren't you showing up? Like, what's going on?" Even when I was taking class with Paz, he would text me, "It's like, hey, you coming?" And I'd be like, "Yes, I'm on my way. I'm walking as fast as I can." Right, and that's just how it is. So
And there's also one big difference. In Korea, most of the communities they divide like the age from 20 to 40, and then after 40 to But here there's no age division. So
yeah. And that might also
early
be
20 and then dance with the
Yeah.
early 60, something like
and
that.
that might just be because the class sizes, like over here, like where we're from, or not from, but where we live, we don't have a community that's like large at all. It's like very, very, very limited, right? So whoever you can get in that community, you're happy with, right? Hey, it doesn't matter your age, how you're feeling, like please just have a good time, because we're here and we're trying to promote like a good time. We're trying to instruct and hopefully spread the word of Latin dance and all that. So
Okay, real quick, just so I'm not confused. You're talking about the class over there. We're not talking about performance teams at all, correct? These are just, hey, I want to take a salsa class or Latin class, I go here and I'm now in a gang, or I can't. That's what we're speaking about though. So not even a performance team though.
No, so yeah, you're kind of in a small, like little niche community, like within the overall, overarching community within that city, right? So it is, it's a little different, but it does have, pros and cons. It definitely has accountability, right? Because usually there's a lead for that group, and that lead is also like in charge of like, doing typically if there is a performance, right, that they're going to give, well, that person is in charge of that performance, and he needs everybody to like, hey, get ready, we're doing a performance in 4 weeks. You guys, you aren't here, freaking, you're not gonna be here in this group anymore, type thing. So
okay, so go to Korea, you're dancing. How long were you in Korea?
2 years.
Yep. And then so you met her, your wife in Korea? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that. How'd you meet her? If you don't mind.
Yeah, so it was funny because I was already teaching in Korea. Was I teaching already in Korea? I think I was.
Really? Because I remember, one of my students, Tiara.
Yeah.
She said,
we were teaching already.
Oh,
yeah. So I was already teaching in Korea
teaching with
another foreigner from the United States. Shout out to Tiara, right? And we were teaching together, and Tiara was her student, basically. Yeah. So she was the instructor.
Also a group,
and that's how I met her.
Member of performance. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how we met. I just showed up one day, and then I was at some event, and then I just heard about, her name was, her nickname was Kitten. So it was like, oh, Kitten's going to be at this event. And I was like, who's Kitten? Who's Kitten? Oh, that's Kitten. Oh, wow. She's really good.
So you would tell me your wife is very well known for her dancing abilities. Is that true? And so, why is that? Just the dedication or the skill level, talent level. What was it?
Because also I have my own lady salsa and bachata, the performance team. Yeah, and then I have the class regularly. So and also I go to bar regularly. With my students.
Yeah, she's very, very, very dedicated. Talent aside, she had natural talent and stuff like that, but she definitely put the work in. Like if you ever took one of her footwork classes, it'll drive you crazy. But it's she definitely, like, even in the United States, she's always watching like videos and stuff like that, and just like I'll catch her and she's like, and where I'm like watching like funny cat videos like on YouTube or something. I was like, oh geez, like maybe I should be doing what she's doing. Right?
So how long have you been teaching them? So you said how long?
Since 2017.
And then how about yourself?
For instructing?
Yes, ma'am.
I think I started to, if I include the beginner thing, then maybe since 2005.
Right.
Yeah, or 4.
Let me ask you both this then. What is a common mistake that you see in your class that you wish you could rectify?
In our classes?
Or just at your time as instructors. A common mistake that you've noticed.
So I'm going to point out like some pet peeves.
All right.
One is probably my biggest pet peeve: students that think they're above like what's being instructed. That's That's like the thing I hate the most. Like I go to classes. I will go to classes for brand new instructors sometimes, right? Just around people I know, right? A friend of mine, they're instructing, we'll go to their class and stuff like that. And I listen to everything that they tell me, right? I don't like, you know, harp on them. Like, oh, we should do it this way and all that stuff. There's a reason, you know, the instructor is instructing, right? So let them do that, right? Instructors are people, right? They're gonna make their mistakes. They're not gonna remember everything, right? And that's fine. As an instructor, taking another instructor class or taking another class with another instructor, I like looking at, you know, how things are taught because, you know, I'm always learning. We're both students all the time. So that's a big pet peeve of mine. If I could change anything, just being above, you know,
And
an instructor.
I understand what you mean, like on a theory level, but how does that play out in class? What do you mean? As in, like the students interrupting, or what do you mean? What are they displaying to come off as?
So, you know, in a typical class, you'll give an instructor, hey, do it like this, right? I'm asking you to do it like this, and then somebody's like, hey, no, do it like we'll do it like this.
Okay,
type
a
thing.
student saying that to someone else, or just
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, this, you know, he's doing it wrong.
oh wow,
You know, that's not the right name for it. Hey, guess what? There's a million names for a lot of different things,
Okay.
right? That are the same moves, right? Yeah, there's some names that are, you know, globally accepted, but yeah, not every single one of them. And yeah, it's just really annoying at times. So.
I asked you the same question. Yes.
So like common mistakes as
Or something that common. I guess you said common mistakes, right? So, what do you see as a common mistake for new students
when I teach you,
that you could fix?
I wish I could fix for the students. So I think some students they don't acknowledge what they doing wrong, because during the class, you know, I try to see one by one individually so I can, you know, correct them and then to give better, you know, better tips. But even though I keep saying, you know, keep more like asking, you know, like giving instructions, but they don't care. They just do the same thing. Then it makes me, you know, just give up. Yeah, okay, I just do, you know, I just teach it, and then it makes me more like a kind of, you know, low energy. I want to give more, you know, more and more, you know, to let them be a better dancer. But if I see they don't try to make more efforts, and then okay, you know what I'm saying?
I do, of course.
Okay,
Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I think is a common mistakes.
I'm curious what that stems from, and I'm curious if that's just maybe in class where there's so much information coming, it may be hard to change or adapt. But I understand it can be difficult. It can be overwhelming as well as a student. So you started teaching, and then you come back stateside. At what point, I guess, do you? I'm trying to think how to ask this. Let me think about this. Hold on, one second. And I'll edit this out. Well, actually, hold on one second. What time is it?
I got 8:41.
Okay. It was like 10 more minutes, or?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Damn, I forgot the question.
Maybe you should give any idea, so
Right.
let him think. Oh, okay, this is it.
Oh yeah. If we, all right.
Maybe some instructing or other students
Well,
or bad
Tips for
habits.
instructing and-
Yeah, well, actually, we'll just continue on. Let me ask you this, when it comes to, I'll just jump to the subject. When it comes to like musicality, how was it difficult for you to learn musicality, or to, you know, how was that for you?
Okay, so this a little bit of background on the musicality thing from my perspective. So my favorite dancers all have something that can't be taught necessarily, right? And it's musicality, right? Like Terry, like Fadi, those two really have like crazy like okay, I get like even Bercy, like they all have like crazy musicality, and that's something that just comes with reps, right? And you start understanding, and you can kind of pitch it. We had a class with Alamana a few months ago, and she kind of brought up the musicality. Sometimes you get lucky, you know, and she's right, 100%. Yeah, it's just something that you kind of get a feel for the music, and then if you do it a lot, you kind of understand what the music is trying to say as you're leading it, right? So I know there's going to be a drop here. They're going to drop, the beat here. There's going to be a bottom here, right? It's weird, but
real quick, I think the way I look at it is as you start to listen to that genre of music more and more often, you're able to understand the repetitions or the patterns. It may be different songs, but the kind of structure the same.
Yeah,
is that what you agree? Yes. Maybe noticing patterns, or
you'll notice patterns, but like just I guess you could just say it's like mostly
get used to.
Yeah, it's mostly patterns, but like I said, no two songs have the same patterns, right? They all their own like individual like thing, and even if I've never heard a song before, which happens, right? I'll dance with somebody and they'll be like, "Wow, that was amazing! Your musicality is crazy," and I'm like, "I've never heard the song," right? Just because I was just like, "Okay, I'm guessing there's something here. Well, it would make sense for something to be here, and we'll do this, right?" I think the song's gonna end here. Oh, it did end here. Oh, sweet, right? And that just comes with like reps.
So for someone who is maybe struggling with musicality, what is there any actionable advice you could give them? How does one improve their musicality?
You want to act? I can answer this.
Yeah.
Okay, so fundamentals, right? If you don't have musicality, which most people don't, like especially when they first start, right? Most people don't. If you stick with the fundamentals, it makes it a lot easier for you to naturally move into the musicality of things, right? Because then you don't have to think about like having good fundamentals, right? It's just like, okay, I know I'm doing good, like, and pretty soon you're not going to be counting in your head, right? A lot of beginners count up until a certain point, right? And then they're just dancing, right? And then they get off beat or something like that. They're just dancing. But as you progress and get more experience, you shouldn't have to worry about like that timing and all that stuff, and you can start doing things where if you think you're off timing, now you can make your follow do some shines or something to that effect alone, and then restart timing, right? And that's how you get better at musicality, really. So fundamentals, always fundamentals.
All right, so let me ask you this then, because people will throw around that word fundamentals. They'll throw that around often. To be specific, what do you mean by fundamentals?
So, body placement, the count, spatial awareness, right, is part of fundamental, especially for socials. We teach social like dancing. That's what we really focus on. And like just those three little things, if you have those things, it makes it a lot easier, basically, right? Because then your partner or whoever you're dancing with feels a little bit more secure, especially if you have good fundamentals. If you're a lead, like the follower's gonna be like, well, shoot, if he dips me, I'm going for it, woo, right, all the way. It's just work on the counting and all that stuff, and you also know your partner's counting as well, because after you know yours, you're gonna have to know theirs. Right, I said theirs, weird, but you have to know theirs as well, and it just makes it a lot easier.
I understand. So currently we are at the first Pensacola Latin Weekender, and you helped organize this and everything, and you also are teaching as well.
Yes.
What did you teach today?
We taught Central Bachata today.
Okay. And how was that class for you?
Oh, it was honestly, it was a joy being the first class for us this year, like, and the first Pensacola Weekender. We were just super thankful that the community showed up to support it. It's very like grassroots, small like event, small venue, but the room was packed, and people were having a good time and talking, and all that stuff, and I didn't have to yell at anybody too bad, so it was good.
It was no students who were above the.
No.
Okay.
No.
Amazing. That's good to hear.
Yeah, and there's a lot of instructors in there, and you know, I don't know, and I have a relationship with a lot of the instructors like in this area, so it was good to see them and just, you know, be able to teach something, and hopefully, you know, they took something from it, even if it's not the thing we necessarily taught, they took something out of it. So
you brought up the magical word sensual bachata. I'm curious. As for someone who's never danced, do you think it would be okay for them to jump right into sensual bachata, or should they go to the bachata?
So, like a lot of instructors that you probably have interviewed before have said, all great central bachata dancers were typically first like good dancers, right? Mostly from the salsa background, right? I would say, yes, does central bachata look cool? Yeah, especially if you have a partner or somebody you're trying to impress. Yes, it looks great. To me, it's the hardest because it requires like a lot of manipulation and stuff like that. I would say do regular classes first. It doesn't matter what kind of class. It could be salsa, it could be bachata, it could be kizomba, it could be any of those classes. Learn fundamentals first, right? Because that will set the foundation of like, hey, body position. This person wants to be or needs to be here. If I want to do this, this sweep move will look good, right, from this position if they're already stationary type thing. Those are the things that like a lot of people can't necessarily put into a class per se without like, I guess, showing them, right? So if you just see somebody doing it on TV, you're not going to understand like why they do it that way. And it's not going to make sense. I can see something on YouTube and be like, I'm going to mimic that tonight at the social. And then you're going to mess it up, right? And I've been there. I've done it. And thankfully I have, you know, her to like, hey, come here right quick. Let me try this. Oh, that did not work at all. Like, that did not look the way it looked like on the TV, right? And then when you do it a bunch of times, and if you have an instructor that can say, hey, the shoulder needs to be here, the elbow needs to be here for this to work, because this, you know, remember, dancing is a two-person sport, right? As of right now, it's a two-person sport when it comes to social dancing. So remember, for every response, there's a equal and opposite response type thing. So yeah, I say learn the fundamentals first.
I would love to hear from you both. In your opinion, what separates a mediocre instructor from a great instructor? Mm-hmm. You know, what qualities make for a great instructor?
Yeah, it's so also fundamental is very important. Yeah, most likely the great dancers have more skills, like better spinning skills and better body movement and better isolation, musicality, that's how I see the difference.
Well, real quick though, I understand what you mean, but it's possible to be a great dancer but not have teaching skills?
Correct.
Yes. So
that's
back
also
to my
very different.
So what makes for a good instructor?
For me, between a mediocre instructor and a great instructor is, okay, a mediocre instructor can teach a pattern, right? I can show you a million times how to do this, right? The great instructor will teach you how to do it, even if you're not physically, like, say, I'm not gonna say capable, but are having hard times. They'll figure out what the problem is in order to fix that, right? Everybody's different, like every body type's different, mm-hmm. Every body is different. Some people are, strong, have strong arms, strong legs, whatever the case may be. They're weak with, isolations or whatever. The good instructors will figure out a way, and obviously you have to have patience to do this, right? And you have to have some time for them to like break the bad habits, I guess it would be, right? So, and those are kind of hard to find. That's how I think the great ones are.
Also, I took a lot of lessons from instructors. So when every time I took the class, I try to how they teach, so when I got the best from them when they how do I say okay, so when during the class I try to learn if they teach like this, oh, that makes me understand easily. So I try to remember that, and then next time I try to also do the same thing to my students, so they can do the better understanding about their body. Yeah, because also all instructors are very differently teach. Because also all instructors have their own different style. Yeah. So every time I take the class, I try to remember how they taught. Oh yeah, this is very good point, because also they're talking about the common mistakes about their students, and then they try to fix the points, and then so the students do not make the same mistakes. Yeah, that kind of thing. Sorry for my English.
You're fine.
My second English.
You're fine. Well, let me ask you this question. I don't want to hold you because I know you have, or we all have a busy night tonight. Let me ask you this though. Can you give me, I want to hear this from both of you all, can you give me one tip that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
One tip. Yeah. I can say it's very simple, Also having the motive, it's very also important, because having fun makes people keep doing it. Yeah. So try to enjoy the process. Like imagine, oh, I'm a very good dancer in the future, but I need to work out. Okay, don't be lazy. So just keep practicing, taking classes and enjoy, and then you're getting there soon. It's be positive. Yeah. So practice.
So practice,
Yeah.
So
take class, practice. Yeah, enjoy.
So for me, and I say this at every class I give, it's practice, right?
Even though I don't practice, I forgot my choreography for performance. Yeah, that's why I try to do every day.
Yeah. Practice is the number one thing that will help anybody get better, right? There's a reason that like somebody that's been taking classes for 10 years is only as good as somebody that's taking classes for 1 month, right? That does happen, right? Because somebody's practicing all the time, and I guarantee you it's the person within that 1 month that's been practicing like day in and day out to get better, right? The classes only help if you actually do it outside of class, right? It's just like homework, right?
Yeah, homework.
Some people are gifted, right? They can just do the classwork and then pass the test. That's cool, but I guarantee you the people that really work hard, like outside of that, are the ones that are going to they already set up a good foundation to get better as they get more information and more materials, more skills moving forward. So again, I always say practice is everything. Like my favorite dance partner, and that's why I started teaching in South Korea when I first started, was Invisible Girl. Yeah, I'll say this, you see me take a class, or I'm giving a class, Invisible Girl, because I danced with her every night for a few hours before I went to sleep, every single day. And then I would go out to socials, and I'm like, that didn't work that way, but it helped me get in the mindset of, okay, if I do a right turn here, the follow's arm is going to be here, and then I started doing both, right? I was both the lead and the follow, and then that helped me get better real fast.
When you say Invisible Girl, do you mean visualizing dancing with a partner?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I'm like, let's go, Invisible Girl. You're the best dancer I've ever danced with, right? Now she has no tension, but it did help, right? At least got me, you have to walk. You still have to do the steps, right? You still have to figure out where the arm placement's going to be, right? Double turn. Oh, is there enough time to do it? Let me try it. Nope. Right? Type stuff like that. So it just helped me get better, and kind of accelerated me to become an instructor real fast and get on somewhat on some of the local communities level of being able to socially dance with the other people.
And I have one tip from my old dance partner in Korea. So he has really constant, nicely constant, safe tension during the whole song. So one of his secrets is every time he danced with a partner, so different partners. So he asked her how was it, what was the good thing, what was the bad thing, what do you think about. So she gave him like a mistakes, or I like this way because blah 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 blah, and then he he tried to do it better next time. So that's how
Feedback.
he got the feedback. So that's also one of the secrets. Yeah,
Okay.
but because some people they don't get the bad feedbacks.
Right,
I didn't
right.
like this. You're too strong, or you're too soft. Something like that. Yeah.
There's an ego problem.
Yeah.
I think comes
Yeah, I understand. I feel like at some point might be hesitant to give critiques though, but I understand that. I definitely understand that. I wanted to. You brought up a good point before we close this up. You were speaking about how you would dance with the Invisible Woman, but it sounded to me like you were getting into the realm of not being afraid to fail. That's what I took away from it. And so especially in the beginner stage where you're new to it, it can be very intimidating to go to a social and try something new out.
Yep.
What could you say about that?
What will make you more comfortable is actually practicing with somebody, right? Before you get to the social. So the saying is, right? You learn the moves, you learn the combo at class, right? And then you go to the social to do those moves, right? And that's what it's for. It's not do the class and then learn it at the social. That's the wrong way of thinking, right? Great instructors will say, hey, you have to do the move, 10,000 times in order to truly master it, right? And that's somewhat true, right? So yeah, if you're like, I don't know, hesitant to go to a social because you're afraid of the way that you might look, or how people may perceive you to look and things like that, just keep practicing. Try to go to the class and practice after the class. Hey, you, I know you're dedicated. I'm dedicated. Can we practice? Now, don't be a weirdo where I don't like, you see people try to, use it as an excuse, like, oh yeah, like, to get with somebody. But yeah, you'll know. Like, you should know who the dedicated personnel are, right? Because they're always there. And yeah, that's the easiest way to overcome that social anxiety, right? Because that's what it is.
Okay.
So.
You were organizing, like we said earlier, the Pensacola Latin weekend. How has this been for you? This experience?
Great. We've been to so many events in our tenure of Latin dance and stuff like that, and this one, like, it was heartfelt for me, because a lot of the instructors came from the local areas, like 3-4 hours out. And they all came to support, and they were like, yeah, we'll be there. We're bringing people, and like, even people that I kind of brought up, hey, can you come to this event? And they couldn't because of other obligations. They were like, hey man, I would totally be there if we could, but we have this other gig going on. But the next one, we're going to be there, right? And that's all I can ask for. And hopefully, it, generates more people to join the community. So.
I understand. Yeah, Pensacola actually has a fairly small dance community, so I understand that. Yeah.
It does.
I guess at this point, I really want to thank you both for taking time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
We appreciate it too.
Oh, of course. So you're actually performing tonight. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Your butterflies. How do you feel right now?
I'm always nervous, but I try to enjoy the moment, and there's just a little nervosity also helps me, not forget. Yeah, I just try to be enjoy. Yeah.
Real quick, one last question. What advice do you give for other performers, as someone who's aspiring to become a performer? What advice could you give them?
Yeah. What would you tell another performer how to get better, or what advice you would tell them?
To the performer?
Yeah, to another performer.
So the reason I perform is, I have a goal. So makes me, practice more, and then dedicate more. And then every time I record, and then I monitor myself. Maybe I should do something, differently. I didn't use my part correctly, maybe a little higher, a little lower. So that's why I, try to, perform. as much as I can. You know, sometimes I just want to be lazy. You know, it gives me a lot of nervous. You know, the whole day I'm thinking the choreography. You know, and even though during the interview I try to listen, but I need to perform. I don't want to make a mistake. You know, so if people they want to do a better performer, you know, they just keep, you know, trying to, you know, perform.
Keep trying.
Yeah, just keep trying. Yeah, keep going.
Trust
You know,
me, you'll
never.
get better.
Yeah, never
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, even though, you know, before the performance, I made a mistake every time. You know,
Yeah.
but also I'm very disappointed. How can I make mistake? I tried a lot, you know. I even tried a lot. I cannot believe myself. But also it makes me, you know, be a better dancer and performer. Okay, I can be better. I learn lesson this time too, you know. So I just try to be positive.
Okay. Understand. Like you said, you have a goal in mind, so kind of keep that why you're doing this. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that a lot.
Otherwise, I just easily be lazy, you know. I don't want to practice. I just lay down and then keep watching YouTube.
I understand.
Yeah.
I definitely understand that. I am. We'll be there in attendance tonight. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Like I said, I want to thank you both so much.
Thank
Any
you.
last words you want to say before we close this out?
You got anything you want to say before we
you-
finish? Oh, okay.
I just have
want
mine.
I just want to say, like, hey, we encourage people to, you know, join the community, right? It's not only dancing, right? You know, the community truly makes people feel better. Yeah, there's always going to be drama, right? There's always going to be drama wherever you go and stuff like that. But if you have, like, say, dance up here, like, it makes it a lot more fun. It gives you more options to go, you know, relieve some of that stress, or, you know, just have something to look forward to in the future. You know, keeps you productive, things like that. You know, makes you happy at the end of the day for the most part. You know, so
That's why we do it.
yeah.
Yeah, I can say just keep dancing, you know. Life is like a divided before dancing and then after dancing, you know. I having so much fun after dancing, you know. Also, it's good for your health, good for your brain, you know.
Yeah.
And also we had a t-shirt saying dance, sleep, eat, you know.
Yeah, I guess I know the show never see that, but yeah.
Just keep dancing.
Just keep dancing. I love it. I love it. Just keep dancing. I think that is a great way to close this out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, cool. Perfect.